You hear that? That's the awkward silence of a family dinner after you just got caught vaping. Most vapes contain high levels of nicotine and disappointment. Brought to you by The Real Cost and the FDA.
This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show, and in today's episode, I thought I was done talking about the gaming industry, but I'm not. This is a bonus episode because, so I see this thing today, right? And that's overall why. I honestly, if I wouldn't have seen this today, I wouldn't even have been talking about it. But anyways, so Sony decided that they were going to raise the prices to their subscription services. So for those that don't know, I think I kind of mentioned subscription services, and I think that's what this episode is mainly going to be about. But anyways, Sony decided that they were going to raise their subscription services, and for those that don't know what that overall is, so pretty much you have to pay to play a video game online. That's what overall it is. And then if you pay for the highest subscription, then you get some video games and all that stuff. But that's the thing, though. I wanted to compare Xbox subscription service and compare PlayStation. Actually, I'm going to compare the three that I know of: Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation. Now, with Nintendo, theirs is cheaper. I will say that. Theirs is cheaper. But the thing is this. If I'm going to be paying for a subscription service, I don't want to play the Nintendo. I don't mind playing the Nintendo games that came out when I was a kid, but I want to play all of the Nintendo games. I don't want to just play some. I want to play all. So it trips me out, right? That when I look at other, for an example, movie and TV show subscriptions, they're not, the thing is this, they have it where it's you pay the lower, or even sometimes it might even be free if you have the ad, the subscription services with ads, right? If you're watching kind of like Hulu, for an example, right? So they have it where you have to pay the subscription service even with the ads, and then they have that option to pay a little bit more without the ads, right? Now, I obviously no ads. I don't want to have my stuff interrupted as I'm watching the show and it's getting good. Now I gotta sit down and watch because Peacock is the same way, and it's bro, they be showing 200 seconds of ads, and I'm bro, I'm not trying to watch all those ads. That's too many ads, bro. And my thing is this. They do have it where, if you pay a little bit more, then you don't get the ads. Now, why is it that when I pay more on PlayStation, Sony, not so much Xbox, but more so PlayStation and, what did I say? I think I said PlayStation and Sony. All right, so PlayStation and Nintendo. Okay, there we go. But why is it that when I pay my subscription service on those two platforms, I don't get all of the games that I want to be able to to play, the Nintendo exclusives, the PlayStation exclusives. They don't have all their games available. Even the old games, they don't have it where all the old games are available. So explain to me, why am I paying? And what was crazy was that they were doing perfectly fine when they didn't have no subscription service for the Nintendo Switches. Yes, if for those that they might find that a little bit surprising. When Nintendo Switches very first came out, you didn't have to pay for no subscription service. And even with the previous Nintendo consoles, I'm trying to think. The GameCube was more so during like the PlayStation 2 and Xbox era. But even like back then, I want to talk on like from when I got into video games all the way up until now. Companies were doing perfectly fine without subscription services. Now, why all of a sudden now you guys want to start adding subscription services? Now, the reason why I want to leave Microsoft out of the loop is because they actually give you some stuff. Excuse me. I might have to get me a little sip of water real quick. But no, like with Microsoft, they give you some things. They give you perks like for Hulu. They gave me perks for this one. It's like an anime based like a subscription service like TV platform thing. They give you that. And then on top of that, they give you the games like that Microsoft exclusive games and a bunch of other different games. All those games might not be games that I play, but they're just there. What other things? Hold on for a second. Let me drink some water real quick. But yeah, overall, okay, yeah, now I'm back. All right. But anyways, with Microsoft, it's like that's the one thing that I have to say that I like about them is that you get your money's worth. You know, like Forza, and I think it was like, what, Gears of War, they bought Bethesda, so you got like the Fallout games and all the other games, and then they got this game called Starfield that's coming out, and it'll be like these big titled games, right? Now, why is it that I don't see that same energy with Nintendo and PlayStation? With Nintendo, they still have it, at least with PlayStation, their games might be a little bit cheaper, you know, like you might be able to get those games for a cheap price at like GameStops or even in the PlayStation store, maybe somewhere else, right? Nintendo, on the other hand, they have it on top of the fact that you're paying for their subscription service. They still want to charge you full price for games that then came out years ago. Now, hold on for a second. Let me bring up Google or open up Google Chrome real quick so I can see when the Nintendo Switch came out, because I think the Switches, they came out either in 2017 or 2018. Release date 2017. Okay. So them things then came out in 2017 along with a bunch of different games, right? Now, I'm trying to figure out that you guys were doing perfectly fine. And that was the reason why I had got rid of my first Nintendo Switch. Because I was like, nah, bro, that's just, to me, that's dumb. Where it's like, I'm out here paying for I already done bought the console. And that's the thing that upsets me. I bought the console. I bought the game. All I want to do is play it. But I can't play it unless I'm subscribed to your guys' service that's giving me online access when the only thing that I think that needs to be paid for when it comes to like this online access is your Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi is already being paid for, and now I gotta pay an additional price? Come on, bro. Like, you guys gotta understand. So my thing is this, because you know me, you know I like my examples. Imagine if Nike, right? Let's say Nike is the only like sneaker company in the world, right? Adidas, Reebok, Puma, Converse, all these other companies, they don't exist. Vans, they don't exist. Nike is the only existing company, sneaker company out there, right? Now, imagine you go in there to wear or to buy a pair of their shoes. You buy the latest pair of Jordans, the latest pair of Air Forces. You're buying whatever pair of shoes that you're going in there to buy, right? So on top of paying $200 for these Air Jordans, you got to pay a subscription price just to wear the Air Jordans. You see how dumb that sounds? You see, because if that was the case, I'd just go outside barefoot. Go outside barefoot or make my own shoes. But then that's going to be too much work. You know, I got to worry about stepping on rocks. I got it. So I might as well. My thing is this, you know, with gaming, it's like you have to understand that everybody, and that's something where it's like, you know, just speaking on times where I was struggling a little bit in life. You don't know people's financial, like business and stuff. You don't know what they got going on, but you want to charge. And then PlayStation, Sony, they want to up the prices. On top of it, ain't like they're cutting down prices on their video games. They ain't like they're cutting down prices on the PlayStation console. They're raising the price. And then on top of the video games having a price raise, and now you're having it where the subscriptions are having a price raise. My thing is this, what are you adding to the PlayStation subscription, PlayStation Plus? What are you adding to that subscription service in order for it to have a price raise? Because as far as I see, my thing is this. There's from time to time, I'll sign into my PlayStation. I'll look through the games that they have, because I subscribe to the premium package, where it's like you get all these different games. And my thing is this: a lot of the games that I done downloaded through PlayStation Plus, I ended up deleting them because they wasn't even fun games. And so my thing is this: at least if you're gonna have it, stop putting games on there that nobody is playing and put your own games on there. That's talking to PlayStation, because that don't make no sense to me, where you guys have it where I'm paying $500 for your console. I'm having to pay $100 and something a year for the subscription service. And then I'm having to pay either $59.99 or $69.99, depending on what kind of game it is. But I'm having to pay brand new price for a video game to play it. And then I gotta pay for this subscription. That's too much. That is way too much, in my opinion. And knowing if it had been the other way around, where they had to pay us, they had been like, no, we ain't coming out unless we get paid more. We ain't coming out with no more PlayStation. We ain't coming out with no more video. But why is it that, now let's say if the fans were to turn around and I think, usually at times like that's what ends up happening, but if it ain't being talked about enough, then they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to lower the prices to any of that stuff, unless like a bunch of people come together and they actually start talking on any things. But if not that, if they don't care about a bunch of people coming together and talking about it, the only way I would see that they would be like, oh, we're sorry, we're going to change it back, and we're not going to raise the price or anything, is if people started saying that we're not going to play on PlayStation. If they seen their sales going down, they seen that the play time from all the people across the world to have a PlayStation 5, 4, whichever, they start seeing that getting lower. They're seeing that nobody's not buying any games. They're switching over the Xbox, they're switching, and that's what trips me out, right? Is that you can go out and you can buy yourself a gaming PC. Now that's one thing where I'm like, and that's again appreciating the Xbox a little bit more, is that, and again, I want to really sit down and do like a full out comparison, because I keep jumping all over the place. But no, I wanted to talk on PCs real quick. That gaming PCs, they might be expensive, but it is so worth it. It's honestly the best investment that you possibly can do. Now, yes, you are going to have to do some pricey upgrades, but my thing is this: having to pay, and that's the one thing that I like, and you don't really see too many people do that. They'll make sure of it that they make all the money when they're releasing a video game. They make sure that they make all the money that they possibly can on console and just console and stuff, because they know that people ain't gonna really be trying to go out and get no refund. So they're all like, oh, we made our money, we do, now we'll release the game on PC and stuff like Steam and Epic Games and all that. But they know that there's gonna be, people out there where it's like, oh, okay, if I get it, and I don't think too many people know that, where it's like you can get a refund on Xbox and PlayStation. You'll just have to sign into the website. But if you buy a game digitally, so that's what you're supposed to do: play the game under 2 hours in 2 weeks. And so, yeah, play it maybe for a few minutes, but no, that's the thing, though, that companies, what they like to do is have it where, oh, yeah, you'll have like 2 hours of fun, or it'll take you like 2 weeks to get through the game, and then once you realize, like, oh, this game is actually trash, and there ain't really nothing else to do, then that's when it'll be too late, and you can't really get your money back in things. And I'm like, that's why, like, with Steam, the one thing that, and I would recommend, like, if there's YouTubers and content creators out there that has money to go out and buy whatever game they want to buy, and, then it's like, and you're not the one having to test it out yourself, yeah, I do recommend that, watching some of it. But then again, you might deal with those YouTubers where it's like, oh, it's like a paid video, where, like, the company or whoever, the developers, whoever made the game, they're all like, oh yeah, we'll just pay them off and tell them to say all these good things about our game, when in reality the game ain't really all that good. For an example, and it's no disrespect to these YouTubers, because I'm still a fan of these guys till this day, it's just that when they reviewed that game, it's like, yeah, they're just having fun, but they're not saying this is the best game in the world. They're not playing this game time and time over and over again. But it was when Vanoss Gaming and his friends, because I think it was them that played the Division 2. Let me see real quick. Vanoss, the Division 2. They didn't play the Division 2. Oh, it was H2O Delirious. He played the DLC. Well, they did overall play the Division 2 and stuff, and then Ghost Recon, that was a good game and things, but my thing is this, it's like, you know, if I'm sitting down playing these games and then out of nowhere that's when some dumb stuff starts, I'm not, bro, that's not something. I don't want to experience a bad time with the game. I want to experience a good time. And that's why you notice a fat difference from video games back then to video games now. And like I've been saying in these, like, calling out the gaming industry episodes, it's like, I just feel that these companies ain't really doing a whole lot to give back to the fans. It's like, now I feel like they found an easier way of giving us crappy games. When back then, if you put out a crappy game, and it wasn't like you can buy games digitally, it wasn't like you had one time to release a crappy game, and if that game, and that's why you probably see a lot of the games from back then where it's like, okay, if they were crappy, ain't nobody buying them now. You ain't really see to, because there are some games that I remember playing back then that wasn't really all that good, and I ain't seeing them now, and I'm like, well, it explains it. But it's like, you got these other companies out here where they're all like, oh, well, let's make it, you know, let's have it where it's like our first few games are the best games of all time, and then as the time goes out, it's kind of like those movies where it's like, they'll come out with like that first good movie, and then afterwards, like, they came out with like straight to TV or straight to like Blu-ray and DVD and stuff, where it's like, fam, what happened from this movie, from the first movie all the way to the last movie, where it's like, you guys ain't even making it into theater. There's some movies, I remember there's that one movie with 50 Cent where he looked all sick and stuff, and I think he was a football player. Something was wrong, but I remember he lost like a lot of weight to do that movie, right? And my thing is this, I had yet to see that movie in stores, in theaters. The first time I actually sat down and seen that movie was the very end of it on BET. That was the one and only time. Now, my thing is this. Imagine if video game companies, if that was like the same reaction we had, where it's like, if it ain't something that we ain't messing with, you guys ain't gonna get no sales. Y'all ain't gonna make it into the stores. Y'all ain't gonna make it. No, we gotta go to like a specialized store just to buy this movie. Yeah, I guarantee and I promise you, a lot of companies will be getting their acts right, where they will be coming out with, like, you know, then speaking of another 50 Cent show show pretty much that does well is the power shows. And I'm like, yeah, he was like, he made sure of it. He was like, okay, we can't have no stuff that goes out like that. No, we got to come out with something good. And look where he's at right now. He's like on the 4th series of just of Power. He done turned Power into like a whole giant universe where it's focused on all these different characters. I'm saying, man, he got even one, I think, where it's focused on his character when he was a kid. So I'm saying, it's like, that's honestly the energy that people need to start having. But I feel like with video games, they're like, oh, well, we release a bad game, let's just release another bad game. Oh, okay, well, you know, third time's a charm, let's release this bad game. The audience may overall like it. Nah, bro, I don't like the fact that companies keep releasing bad games. I don't like the fact that there's businesses and other companies like Microsoft. Well, Microsoft, no, okay, again, throwing them, you know, to the side. But oh no, that was the thing that I was actually gonna say about Microsoft and then say about PlayStation and Nintendo, comparing like Nintendo and Sony to Microsoft and Xbox. They have it where you can play, like, not all, but you can play, like, I guess, like, some games that are compatible, or the games that they move over to the PC version. You can play a lot of the games off of your Xbox on your PC. And then they have like a whole, and I don't know, maybe that just has to do with like, you know, the computer, like a lot of computers nowadays be running like Windows and stuff, which is like Microsoft. And no, but they have like a Xbox app, and you can play all these different games if you have the highest subscription and stuff. And then, no, that was another thing that I had to say that I did appreciate with Xbox and their subscription. They were charging me less for the longest. They were charging me like $1 at one point. They'll have that from time to time where it's like, oh, if you want to try out the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, just pay us $1. I'm saying, like, Xbox, you know, the thing is this. If it was a toss-up, right, between my Xbox and my PlayStation and my Nintendo Switch, which ones I had to give up and things, I think I'm keeping my Xbox. You know, like, it's something where I'm like, I have I had to say, like, all of my friends are on Xbox, right? I might have, like, some friends are on PlayStation, but I feel that if they had the money to go out and buy an Xbox, they would go out and buy an Xbox, because it just seems like it's more welcoming on there versus PlayStation and Nintendo, where it's like, Nintendo, you're charging $59.99, $69.99 for old video games. Cut down the prices of your, this is my final, like, these are my actual final messages. Sony, do not raise the price on nothing until you actually put some good games on PlayStation Plus. Nintendo, cut down the prices on your video games. Them video games are old. You should not be still charging $59.99 for a game that came out years ago. And then what's crazy is that they're charging $59.99 for a deluxe version of a video game that came out almost 10 years ago. At least my thing is this, and just mentioning a video game real quick, Grand Theft Auto 5, my thing is this, at least with them, how much does Grand Theft Auto 5 go for? Let's just see. GTA 5 Steam key. I guarantee you it's gonna be dirt cheap. Yeah, $11, and that's the premium online edition. And then you could go to CD keys where you're just getting GTA 5, where it's like $11. There's another website, $7. eBay, you could get it for $4.99. Where there's some other okay, let's see, Xbox key. $15, $8, $19. Yeah, the game is like dirt cheap because the game came out over 10 years ago. What's your excuse, Nintendo? That don't make no sense to me. I'm saying you guys gonna have to cut down on the prices of your video games, because that don't make no sense to be out here charging $59.99 for games that came out years ago. I understand, like, the latest games, the newest games, like Legend of Zelda, that new Legend of Zelda, but the old Legend of Zelda, cut down the price on that. That don't even make, let's just see how much Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, oh, they actually have it where you could get that for $10. Yeah, but on Amazon, yeah, because that's like somebody on eBay. But they're all like, on Amazon, it's like $49, $59, and $50. No, that's still too much. That is way too much for a video game. And that came out the same day the Nintendo Switches came out. That don't make no sense to me, bruh. I'm like, nah, you guys are crazy for charging that much for video games, and they're old. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. And if you are purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. And if you are purchasing any energy drinks from Rogue Energy, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. That will knock 10% off your next purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.